Thank you for joining us today for Property Talk from Louise's Lounge. My name is Louise Heatley and I'm Managing Director of Exclusive Links Real Estate. I've been in the real estate market in Dubai for 16 years, so I know a few things and I know a few people. And through our podcast series, it's an opportunity for us to bring some insights into the Dubai real estate market, to discuss some interesting topics, and also to have some guest attendees. And it's an opportunity for you to meet some of the team. So on today's podcast series, we're going to talk about the differences between the Abu Dhabi market and Dubai property market. Today we have our Abu Dhabi partners, Henry Wiltshire International. We have Andrew Colville, owner and director, and we have Director of International Sales, Jessica Gain. Andrew has 30 years of international sales experience, encompassing development, sales and marketing, investments and real estate. Having prior experience in the London markets, he moved to Abu Dhabi in 2008, and he's a key figure in both the local Abu Dhabi market and property in London investments. Jessica has also worked in property for over 30 years, starting her career in Hong Kong for a UK-based company. She now works as Director of International Sales for Henry Wiltshire International, and although she does a lot of international sales, she's very active in the Abu Dhabi market and in particular on Saadiyat. So Andrew, Jessica, welcome.
Morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today. How was your trip down from Abu Dhabi?
Pretty easy actually, pretty good, yeah.
Good rundown?
Easy
Yeah.
run.
Good stuff.
No COVID tests on the way in, so that was great.
But maybe on the way back.
Yeah. Way back.
I think we've got to, yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. And Andrew, can you tell us a little bit about Henry Wiltshire International and how long you've been established in Abu Dhabi?
Sure, yeah. I set up in Abu Dhabi in 2014. Henry Wiltshire was already established in London, Hong Kong, Singapore for around 5 years before that. And there was a lot of synergy between the offices. The Asian offices typically did a lot of international sales, selling London property and working between the two. So we set up Abu Dhabi purely to be between them, to continue the international sales network. But also I've been working in the local Abu Dhabi market for some time, so I wanted to bring the local dimension to the business. So yeah, 2014 we kicked off, just when things were pretty busy again, following a big slump. As we then know, it went into another slump, so as we're used to here in the UAE, you know, riding the ups and downs.
How is it now?
Now, very busy, very good. Lack of stock is the big issue. I don't know, you know, I'm sure we'll talk a bit about Dubai and Abu Dhabi and how they compare, but you know, there's a lot of people looking to buy, which is great. A lot of people coming out of rented, but suddenly we're really seeing a lack of stock.
Yeah,
so
definitely the same as Dubai, and trying to match the demand and the supply outweighing. So Jessica, obviously I'm from the Dubai property market, yourselves from the Abu Dhabi market. What are the main differences between the two markets, do you see?
Well, as Andrew said, I think possibly we're becoming more aligned. We always used to think that Dubai, there was more choice, there were more compounds, you had more areas to live. When you come up to Abu Dhabi, you're actually quite, certainly from the buying perspective, you're very restricted because there are still areas you can't buy if you're not an Emirati. Within the rental market, the communities, the choice of communities is much less. So people arrive and they're fixated on a particular area, and what we're finding now is if you can't find what you want in that area, the idea that you wait and something will come along, it just isn't happening. So from the rental market, if I can't find something on Saadiyat, the obvious next place to go would be Yas, but we're having now the same problem in Yas. And as you just said, the lack of stock, particularly in the villa market, you know, families that want 3-4 bed villas, families with small children, we just, you know, supply is not there.
We've had some new communities come on, like Yas Acres and West Yas, but they're immediately full, particularly villas, and I think it's something that's been seen the world over with COVID, obviously people moving from apartments to villas. But yeah, I mean, we have seen a lot of new people coming in, and even with high budgets. I mean, you had someone the other day.
I've got clients with budgets of 700,000, which is a very hefty budget. And I've got 3 or 4 in that market who specifically want Saadiyat, and they just won't consider anything else. And I have nothing to offer them, absolutely nothing. And they say, oh, well, we'll wait. But you know, they've been waiting all summer, and traditionally there's a changeover in September because families go back to the UK particularly, or Europe when schools start. They go away for their summer holidays. They expect when they come back there's been a handover and people have left. And whilst some people have left, a lot of these properties are not actually coming onto the market. They are being handed over to friends or word of mouth before it even hits the market.
It's not even being advertised because it's already gone before that. So if you took a typical sort of family home, maybe a 3 or 4 bedroom, what would you have been able to rent them for, and what would they be now? If the demand is so strong and the supply, it's obviously affecting the budget. So if you took a traditionally right budget, a rental budget, what was that and what would it be now?
We would have said originally, certainly sort of between Al Raha, Yas and Saadiyat, if you had between 230 to 280, you could have got a 4-bed villa, depending on which of those areas you were looking at. Now you're looking at starting at 280, and even on Saadiyat now, they've gone up to 450.
And that's
I suppose
if you
a
get them.
4-bedroom in Saadiyat, that used to be what?
A 4-bedroom in Saadiyat used to be, if it wasn't a townhouse, it used to be around the 300, 320 mark. They're now 450. And that's in the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, it's purely the supply and demand ratio.
It is.
I guess they're not renting in huge numbers. You know, it is such a limited supply that's obviously pushing it up, and there's enough people to satisfy that demand, probably with a company budget, who will pay
People will
what they
pay
need
it.
to pay. Yeah.
Well, and that's it. People are they're prepared to lower their expectations on the size or even the location. We've got one villa next to the Etisalat mast. Now, everybody, well, not everybody, but a number of people have a thing that they don't want the families next to mast, the radiation, whatever. That would always traditionally be really, really hard to rent, and you'd have to drop the budget considerably. Now, it's the only one available. So if somebody wants to live on Saadiyat, that's the villa they have to take.
They'll take it, and it will probably go.
And it will go.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's so popular about Saadiyat?
It's
never been.
schooling, it's the beach,
to
it's
get
the
there.
golf course. It's so, and again, because of the lack of supply, it has a sort of cachet of its own. You know,
The Hamptons of Abu Dhabi, one local client said it
It's
to
the
me, and
Hamptons of
actually
Abu Dhabi.
it's
It's
very
the
true in
one
a way.
to-
You've got the lovely beach, best beach in the UAE, we believe. You know, as you say, you've got the golf, there's a lovely beach club, you've got schools moving in, but there's space and it feels nice, yet it's only 10-15 minutes into the city. So there's a lot of demand.
It's the ideal lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that dream lifestyle. So what about the sales market? You've talked about the rental prices there. What's happening with your sales market? Is that demand as much?
Yeah, I mean, across the board. I mean, from Raha Beach is, you know, obviously a very established apartment community. We've got a lot of people moving from rented to sales there.
There's no villas in Raha Beach?
Not really. There's some townhouses, villas now on Yas Island, but so again, villas is very much in demand. But good quality apartments with a sea view. Quality is prevailing, and everyone's still, again, both rental and sales, going for the quality or the best view. So I mean, in Al Bandar's a very popular marina development, and we had 5 3-bedroom apartments until quite recently. They've been on the market for some time. Prices have sort of come down to a point, and then suddenly we sold them all. And
Just
we
got
had
to
3
the right price point.
3 people disappointed, and you know, having to look elsewhere. Lesser communities without the view, without the facilities, without the beach are sticking. You know, there needs to be more of a price differential. But to answer your question on sales, elsewhere, I mean, villas in Saadiyat, again, if we hop back to that, at the upper end of the market.
upper end of the market, but what is happening is, again, due to the lack of stock available, when one sells, the word gets out it reached 6 million, say, for a townhouse. So the next person puts theirs on at 6.5. That one sells, and the next one puts it on at 7. There then comes we've now got a couple of villas in the market where the seller's expectations have far outstripped where the buyers are at. So they're sticking. They're not getting these higher prices. They are the only ones available. Now, in 6 months' time, it might be the normal price, but the buyers aren't there yet. So people are overpricing now.
So buyers are actually realising that and going, do you know what? No. And then the properties
Well,
are overpriced.
I mean,
But I think the
they're
buyers will get there. I think the buyers, if they want to be there, will finally, in 6 months, that's what I'm saying, 6 months' time, the buyers will say, well, that is the price I have to pay if I want to be here.
It's funny you're saying that. I think we felt like we had that market a few months ago, and now we're finding prices like that are sticking, and maybe in some of the communities that have gone really high, excessively high, they're having to maybe rethink, because buyers are just like, no,
So you're just seeing a
enough.
gap between buyers and sellers.
It's
and,
gone when something isn't priced right because it like that. It's just another million, another million. It just keeps going up. It's not a realistic incline. It's not a realistic price, and I think buyers are sometimes like, okay, enough now.
And bank valuations are holding it up as well.
And
they're not getting the bank valuations, but the bank valuations we're finding are not in sync either, because the valuer will look at the previous sold price, and that might have been 6-9 months ago because we don't have the stock, and they're not realising that we are achieving these higher prices because up till now the buyers have been prepared to pay it. It's just gone a bit over the top now.
Yeah, as it did in Dubai. What are the differences in Dubai? If we take one of your high-end properties, say we take something in Saadiyat,
a golf course villa maybe,
and we want to compare it with something in Dubai, what would be the price variances?
I mean, again, very limited options before. Was, say, a golf course community, it was just Saadiyat Beach Villas. That was the only one in Abu Dhabi. And to get one on the golf course, they built them all very large at the beginning, sort of 8,000 to 14,000 square feet.
Oh wow! Built up area, really.
Built up. So anything on the golf course was big. So to get the smallest one, was around 8,000 at around 15 million. Yas Acres has now come along with a 9-hole golf course, very nicely done in the middle, and they put some slightly smaller villas. So you've got 4 or 5 bedrooms there at 5,000 to 6,000 square feet. They're now 5-6 million, something like that. So it's quite a good entry point, which I think is probably more similar to some of your communities here.
I'm thinking of places like Jumeirah Golf Estates or here, and having around that same size. I don't know, maybe we might be a little bit higher here.
Right.
On some prices.
And you've seen the villa prices move up quite a lot.
Yeah, they have, exactly what you said yourselves. Everybody wants to try and get in the villas. And there was a huge opportunity in Dubai last year where a lot of prices came down, but now we've come back. We're back to sort of 2020 early prices when things started to go up again. Yeah. So okay. So I thought you might have been a little bit more expensive than us. So.
Well, I think traditionally it has been, but I think, and I was saying this on the rentals, looking at the comparison on rentals, originally clients would come up to Abu Dhabi and be horrified at how expensive it was to rent and how little outside space they tended to get. But as you've built more and more communities, and we haven't really, I think the prices are much more comparable now.
So we have a very fiercely competitive market in Dubai. I'm sure you do in Abu Dhabi. What are your buyer tips? If somebody wants to get into a market where it's very competitive, do you have any tips for the buyers? What they should be doing to make sure that they can secure the property that they want?
I guess the first thing is, do your research and be prepared, and that's where we can help them. Talk about the right communities, really establish what they want. Get bank finance is, really probably number one. We try and direct people to the banks first to make sure they know what they can afford, how much it's going to cost them, how much the down payment to be. We had the recent relaxation of the central bank rules, so people can now borrow a little bit more, which a lot of people aren't aware of. So we've got some very good relationships with the banks, and we get people pre-approved. So preparation, I guess, is the key, because we see a lot of agents just offering people, and they don't necessarily give them the right advice at the beginning, and they know what they're looking at or know how much they can afford.
They just want to get them out interviewing, showing them properties.
And I think people see a whole load of stuff they don't necessarily want or can't afford or whatever. So I think preparation, going out and seeing the right thing, and then being realistic again on the prices.
And I think particularly now, going back to the lack of stock, is advising them that waiting another 6 months is not necessarily going to help you.
No.
Because if you do, you're going to lose this one, and we may not get a better one. And because so many people have come in and they just see there's only one of the type they want available, going back to Saadiyat, a 4-bed. We've got 3 in the market, 2 of which are not anywhere near the best, and 1 very, very good one. But if they've only seen 3 villas, they don't feel they've seen enough. So they say, well, wait. And if you wait, either the prices are going to go up, which some people have been priced off Saadiyat, they simply can't afford it because the prices have gone so far in the 6 months, or they end up having nothing because they don't get anything better and somebody else buys the one they saw.
And it's not a sales technique, is it? By saying to the client,
please
sorry,
believe me.
but
This is
going to go, and then 6 months later they're like, oh, oops.
And you feel you should be showing them more, and you want to show them more, so they've got a good overview. I mean, you have a lot more communities here and a lot more stock, but I guess you've got a lot more people as well. So do you have a similar issue?
Yeah, it's doing that Reiki and showing around, but what used to happen is you'd have sort of 5, 6, 7 different properties, and you'll find the same property being shown by multiple agents.
Yes.
But I agree exactly what you say is get your research done first, go out and find particularly what your finances can afford. You have to compromise as well. What are you willing to compromise on? Because properties aren't going to tick every single box.
Yeah.
There has to be something that you might have to compromise on.
And I think you have you have an advantage over us in the fact that the listings of properties have to be verified and everything here. So if somebody comes to you and says there are 10 villas in this compound, there probably are 10. They can look on Property Finder in Abu Dhabi, and because the agents don't have to have verified, a lot of the listings may have sold, may not be available, and you end up having clients that don't believe you when you say there are only 3 villas in this price range on site. They say, well, we've seen 7 or 10 or 15 listed. And it's that where I think you have more regulations here than we have in Abu Dhabi.
What's the reason for that? Because I agree with you. We like that feature on Property Finder, the fact
we
it's
love
verified,
the verified feature
by 3 agents, because it reduces the ones that aren't. Why? And in some cases there is legitimate reasons why we can't verify. But as you say, there can be 10 of the same property. It's only one. But it's misleading to the clients of what's actually available, and it's
because in Dubai you have to have your Form A to advertise at all, don't you?
Yeah,
so
we have to have all the documentation. So they do check
the
signatures on the forms that the owners have signed to make sure they match the ID, that the title deed. They do check a lot of information to make sure that that owner has obviously authorised you to market it. And it is a feature I like, because you want the market to be realistic. You want only one property to be shown to actually show the clients it is the only one for sale. So what other things do you face? Obviously you've got a issue with stock at the moment. What are the other challenges you face as doing real estate in Abu Dhabi? Is there any
other agents?
Other agents? Oh, we all have that. What are they the same as in Dubai?
The lack of regulation means it's an easy market to abuse, really.
So you don't have
we all think we do things perfectly, and obviously we try and do things as well as we can and professionally, and we self-regulate as much as possible. The verified, how we do things, how we offer things, how we put our listings.
You have to have your own standards,
yes,
don't you?
Absolutely.
Which is why we partner with you. Because
but sadly there are a lot of unscrupulous agents who just pay no attention to that. I was speaking to one landlord last night where there's a high-end premium villa on the golf course, mid-20s for sale, and he's got people, knocking on his door, coming to his office. We've got it exclusively. We have an arrangement. It incentivises other agents to come and work with us. Yet people are still knocking on his door and trying to come to him direct, because there's still, those sort of agents in the market, and some of them operating out the back of the car. They don't have licensed offices, and it's not a, unfortunately, it just distorts the market for, and buyers see things that are not.
And I'm an owner of a villa, and the owner's list has been sold. So I get calls probably every week from an agent saying, I want to sell your villa. I think it's, you want to sell. And I've never approached them, but because they've got my phone number, so they're ringing all the owners regularly, and it's
a huge issue. We have that in Dubai as well. It's, we want the markets to be as transparent and as honest as possible for the people who want to be in the market, for us as agents, for companies, and for sellers and buyers. But I agree, it's a huge problem. Anything else other than agents? How is obviously we have Dubai Land Department, we have RERA. What are the regulations in Abu Dhabi in that regard? Do you transfer properties at a land registry office? You do the developers?
For 2 or 3 years now, we used to do all the transfers in the developer's office, but we now do it in Abu Dhabi municipality. So it's been a bit of a moving feast, and regulations and processes been slowly changing. Things have been getting more and more efficient, so we have a process to work with, developers, NOC, and then we go to municipality to do the transfer.
Of all the properties registered with the municipality now, and not just with the developer?
Yeah, it's taken some time, but some people weren't getting those title deeds, and we were having to encourage them to do that. People left it too long and started incurring fees. So again, we always try and help people and give them the right advice. But yeah, the system is now that we do everything in municipality, which equivalent of your land department, I guess.
And how much are your land registration fees?
It's 2% typically. Historically, it was always on the buyer. Sometimes it's shared now. I think you're forced to.
We're 4%. Yeah. We increased in October 2013 from 2 to 4.
How is that typically paid? Is that half buyer, half seller? Or?
If you look at sort of the rules and regulations, it'll say 2% seller, 2% buyer. But technically, it's always going to be the buyer that pays it, because ultimately they pay the top price.
They put the price up,
and then everything gets taken off that, if you like. So it's technically the buyers, so same. So with regards to Abu Dhabi and Dubai, we have a partnership, so we can obviously help your clients with the Dubai market and our clients with the Abu Dhabi market. We do what we do best, and we stick to our own Emirates. What about the cross-bordering? Do you see a lot of your clients in Abu Dhabi wanting to move or invest in Dubai, or are they very loyal to the Abu Dhabi market?
I think investment-wise, yes, people are always keen to look in both Emirates. With the restrictions recently, it's sort of hampered that a little bit, but I know we used to have a lot of interaction. I'm seeing that going up more and more between our offices now, which is good. We're seeing quite a few people moving interestingly from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. There's been a lot of government investment. A lot of the big entities in Abu Dhabi are hiring at a senior level from Dubai and overseas, so that's changing quite a bit. I know we've always referred a lot to you for property management in Dubai. A lot of our landlords already have portfolios here. So, I think with the restrictions it's hampered it somewhat, but that seems to be moving up and up a bit.
Yeah.
And hopefully our international referrals will start increasing as well as we start to get people travelling again.
Good. I was speaking of international investments, how's that going?
Well, I think, COVID has put the kibosh on everything for a time, because people didn't want to buy without viewing, and there's only a limit. You can do a lot on videos, but people, especially from here, I think having a Hong Kong office, you will find that they will buy unseen. I don't think many people from this region will buy unseen. It's so close to go, and the reason, unless it's a pure investment, the reason most of them are buying is a family home, a holiday home. I mean, the pure investors will, but then it'd be off plan, and so they wouldn't go and see it naturally anyway.
Okay, so the off plan's still okay, and that's a lot of local UAE residents.
Yes, I mean, I think from my perspective, the sort of clients I have, most of them are wanting to buy a second home or a home for their children, or, I mean, the Emiratis have always invested fairly heavily in London anyway, and London is our primary market. And they always have, and they've always invested in central London. There's been that's the family link. If they've been investing for a pure investment sake, then yes, they may be looking at Manchester or areas outside London, because in the last few years those areas have done very well. But yes, COVID, it's only now that people are starting to travel, and the UK still does have restrictions, so it's still not easy to get back to the UK. So I think by the summer, now we've had the summer and people haven't been able to go as they would normally for their summer holidays. The sort of September, October market, people are starting to say, right, we would maybe go and do the 5 days quarantine. It's reduced to 5 days in a hotel. That's manageable.
So you'll see it starting to pick up where more local UAE residents, nationals will actually start travelling to go and find international.
Exactly.
Well, I know you've got quite a few families that have been talking about it for a while.
Yes, they've been waiting and waiting, saying, look, we can't do because the UAE has been the red list country, and that's 10 days in a hotel. That's just too much.
You just put everything on hold.
Yes, they have.
That's good. It's hopefully with the
But luckily the local market's kept us very busy in the meantime. So
it has, exactly. We've had enough internally. And will you be coming down for the expo?
Oh yes,
sure.
Will you come and visit?
We were just driving past it this morning, actually.
Did you go?
So I can't believe it's only next month.
Gosh, I know. I've seen a few video clips. It looks amazing. We just hope we get everybody that wants to come in to see it.
It's going to be amazing for the whole of the UAE, really. I think
all of the UAE,
yes.
As you say, it's not just about Dubai. It's, as you say, that I think there is a lot of cross-bordering investors.
And because it's between the two borders, it's really between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. It's right on that border. So,
well, so still exciting.
Incredibly busy, yes.
I think the funny thing is, not many of us have really had holidays, so we've been working all the way through. We managed to take a short break last week, but apart from that, it's been 18 months, and there's been so much work to keep us busy. And talking to other people, when people have taken 4-6 weeks off, everyone's just, continued. And, I think there's enough to go around and keep us all
I think also I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, as you get busier and more things happen, you just want to keep that speed up, and you want to think of more things. You don't want to sit back and relax. You actually want to ride it while the fun is there. And so we'll be busy then, hopefully, for the next
I hope so.
the rest of the year, for sure.
Sure.
I really appreciate you both coming down. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
I know
Louise.
it's been a long journey, but I haven't seen you for a while, so it's
for
a
a
good
long time,
opportunity to get you down here. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for
us.
having us. Okay.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast series today. I hope you enjoyed the chat. And as always, if there's anything that you want us to discuss in future, any topic suggestions, please do let us know. Thank you, and tune in again soon.